Hi there, and welcome back to our journey towards winning an aquascaping contest. First off, everything in this video is personal opinion, and I want to congratulate all the scapers we talk about today for their hard work and great scapes. I want to start off today with a recent small aquascaping contest that was completed just about 2 weeks ago, ANAC 2025. The winner was Juicel Quantico with this beautiful jungle-style scape. Using just a 45-centimeter tank, Juicel succeeded in creating a scape that looks bigger than it really is. I want you to keep this in mind as we look at more scapes today. Secondly, we see a large part of the scape creating shadow, and he is using red-colored plants to create some highlights. His depth creation is really impressive here. Another nanoscape I would like to look at is this one. While I am not a fan, there are some elements that I think deserve some attention.
First off, there is the title of this work, Nano, referring to the small size of the scape in tank. Again, just being a 45-centimeter tank. Secondly, the scaper does balance the size of the plants in hardscape very well, while using the background and the shade from the hardscape to create a bit of a mystery vibe. The vibrant, larger size fish tie in nicely with the name of the scape, making the story come full circle.
So these first two scapes already show us that even with a small tank, if balanced correctly, and with an eye for detail, you can tell a compelling story, one that will capture the attention of the audience, or in this case, the judges.
This next scape is one I personally don't understand or would have placed in the top 100 in the current age of aquascaping. However, this is a scape from 2010 and there has been a huge evolution in scaping over the past 15 years. Also, I want to point out that many of today's scapes are going to be a bit older, as this will help you see the evolution in scaping over the coming videos. Before we move on to the next scape, I want to quickly discuss a few elements here that I think could have been done better. Number one, the angels look too big compared to the hardscape and the overall tank. To me, it makes the tank look out of balance. Number two, I am missing some cohesion between the different types of stones. And number three, while the plants look healthy and they interact okay with the wood, I am missing some shadow and overall darkness.
In 2010, this scape won IAPLC, Forest Scent. When I look at the scape, I do see a forest, so the name fits with my first impression. That already makes it a strong scape. The clever use of plants and the good use of reflections make this a really beautiful scape, and the artist really shows off his skills. I do want to point one thing out. We can't compare this forest scape one-on-one with the more modern jungle scapes. While we could make the argument they both represent a forest theme, the type of forests are different. Now looking at two other forest scapes, leaning more towards the jungle style, we do see something in the evolution that is significant. The size of the tank and how much detail and hardscape is put into the tank. The 2010 IAPLC winner used a 150 centimeter tank, while these other two tanks are 120 centimeters. And looking at the two more recent tanks, we see more details, a greater depth perception, and a lot more shadow. The fish are missing in the 2010 IAPLC winner, while very present in the more recent tank, giving a more underwater vibe. The runner-up of 2010 was a colorful scape and ties in with my last movie about color. The name and what we see seems to match during my first impression. What do you think? Loess Plateau. With just 90 centimeters, the tank does seem to utilize the available space, and you could say the color scheme helps to tell the story. Yet, I am not so sure that it would score as high in today's aquascaping setting.
While thinking about the previous scape, I went digging in archives and found this more recent scape. Also a colorful bright scape with a strong hardscape, but ranking just 65. And the name doesn't seem to connect with what my impression is when looking at the scape. Nevertheless, this is a beautiful scape, and I know a lot of scapers out there would be overjoyed to make something like this.
We will be remaining in 2010 a little while longer, starting with this scape ranked 27th. Deep green. First off, yes, there is a lot of green, but how strong does the name feel to you? But there are a few things that grab my attention here. Number one, the fish. While I do see them, they seem like almost lost in the scape. Number two, at 180 centimeters, this is a very big tank. But looking at the whole tank, I don't get that impression of size. Number three, the artist does do a good job with the reflections along the left and right hand side. Number four, the lack of ripples on the surface takes away from the underwater feeling. Last thing to mention is probably the focal point. While bright and clear, maybe a bit too centered and too big.
Now, staying with the same tank size, I want you to look at this 2010 tank, also from IAPLC, but ranking 16th. Adding the black background immediately changes the atmosphere. The fish towards the focal point are much more present in the scape, and because of the dark background and dark surface, the lack of ripples doesn't bother me. Some minor details that do catch my eye negatively are, number one, the very wide, bright foreground. I think some more details here could have elevated this feature, some small rocks and pebbles, or some sporadic plants. Number two, the reflection at the right-hand side. The emptiness seems to bother me slightly. On the left, you have a nice reflection, almost like it extends the scape size. The emptiness on the right doesn't feel like a cave and just makes it seem empty. What do you think?
This next scape is still keeping us with the black background, something that was more commonly used 10 to 15 years ago. It is titled Knot, and while I do see a knot in the plants on the left-hand side, I am not really sure how strong I would call the scaper's story. I like the stonework, the play on green colors. The fish match the size and overall feel of the scape. The black background allows the scaper to put more light on the plants and the green color of the scape while maintaining the mystery of darkness. The few things that do make me question the scape are, what is the real focal point? The path seems a little too clean and could perhaps use some more details. And lastly, the scape kind of feels out of balance. There seems to be too big of a gap between left and right. What are your thoughts? To finish off our 2010 journey, I would like to look at this scape. IAPLC 2010, ranked 8th, Into the Green. From a more modern perspective, I kind of like this scape. It addresses the issue of details in the foreground I have mentioned before. The hardscape having a little yellowish tone to it matches the plants in the upper half that have a reddish yellowish tone to them. Not really sure what I would change here. Maybe make the focal point a bit smaller by adding another smaller hardscape feature to the back. Maybe change the color of the foreground sand from white to something that matches better with the yellowish feel of the hardscape. All in all, I do think this is a really strong scape.
Before ending today's video, I want to look at 3 more recent scapes. Starting with this IAPLC 2021 scape ranked 5th, Fairy Hollow. What I want you to look at is how different this is compared to the older tanks. Some of the previous tanks we looked at were 130, 150, 155, and even 180 centimeter tanks, while this one is just 110 centimeters. Look at how much more detail is in this tank. Look at how much more depth the scaper has created by building height and layers. Look at how the scaper has chosen a more neutral color sand for the foreground, using pebbles and even plants much closer to the front of the aquarium. This is like an artist using the full size of the canvas to create a painting.
In 2021, Hugo Liao created this scape, Myth. It ranked 6th at RFL-CAC. Personally, it was my favorite tank that year. Yes, I am a fan of reddish-colored plants. And yes, I do remember what I said in my previous video, reddish plants makes winning harder, but not impossible. The scaper used the hardscape to create a frame for this underwater painting. The play with surface reflection is on full display here. The fish are vibrant and present, helping with the underwater feel. The hardscape frame and the angle of the center stone creates a lot of shadow and makes the scape feel active and vibrantly alive.
As we started today's video with a jungle-style scape, I wanted to end today with the same style. This 2024 winner at IADC, Borneo Life. Forest and jungle-style scapes have been around for a long time,
and we regularly see them in top 100 rankings. This is not a coincidence. Jungle and forest-style scapes offer a great opportunity for details. The layers and complexity allows for unmatched depth perspectives. Creating a play of light and shadow almost comes naturally, and the natural feel connects with many contests' scoring of natural vibes. The fish can interact with the scape and create a dynamic feel. This style checks all the boxes. A play on light and dark, dynamic mystery, easy storytelling, details and planting, depth and layering, and a focal point that can be small yet impactful. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe. See you next time when we will again look into some scapes in more detail. Take care and see you around.